Hello, Scott Baker here for Truth and Liberty. Wanted to bring you a video about America's 250th celebration. We're celebrating the Declaration of Independence, a leap of faith. In summary, a declaration, on July 4th, 2026, we celebrate our nation's 250th birthday. The Declaration of Independence is widely considered our mission statement and birth certificate. The men who wrote and signed it were Christians who knew the Bible and history. They signed it knowing that it could cost them their lives and their fortunes. It was truly a leap of faith. But what does it say? Many of us read this in elementary school, and many of us haven't read it since then. I try to make it a habit of reading it on a regular basis, but even I forget sometimes. It really is a profound document, and I wanted to read it, at least part of it to you, and walk you through some of what they meant. In Congress, July 4th, 1776. The unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. Now, it's important to understand what the founders were saying here. They believed that this was absolutely necessary. The laws of nature and of nature's God is a reference to the works of Thomas Aquinas, John Locke, and other Christian philosophers, as well as English common law, which is commonly referenced with Blackstone. This is the part that most of us know well. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This was fundamental to what the founders were trying to do. Our rights come from God, not from government. It's easy to forget that sometimes, and it seems like we've drifted far away from that. But it's an essential, fundamental principle to the United States of America and our form of government. The rights that they speak of here, the unalienable rights, life, of course, the right to live. Liberty, the right to be free, to govern yourself. And the pursuit of happiness. The pursuit of happiness is a phrase directly from the Scottish Enlightenment, meaning seeking goodness and virtue through God's will in your life. It's not what a lot of people today would say, just seeking your best life now, but it was literally a callback to their Christian heritage and Christian philosophy of the time. We continue on. To secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Again, this is critical. Government is to secure our rights. That is why in the Bill of Rights there are several things that say shall not be infringed. They're saying the government has no authority to infringe on our rights because our rights come from God. Government, our government, is designed to serve the people, not the other way around. This is something they were definitely trying to escape, and many of these principles came directly from the Bible. In Exodus, Jethro tells Moses to organize the people into what is essentially a republic. This is 1,000 years before Plato. In 1 Samuel chapter 8, Samuel tells the Israelites that God said they should not want or need an earthly king, but they insisted anyway. In many ways, establishing this new government, breaking from having a king, was a callback to Samuel and the call that we did not need a king. If you remember, the King of England had usurped many powers unto himself, including taking over as the head of the Church of England and telling the church using it to wield political power and authority and to punish his enemies. Indeed, what they call a long train of abuses. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes. And accordingly, all experience has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty, to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. The founders did not undertake this lightly. They were committing treason by signing the Declaration. The King of England had become a tyrant. This also calls back to Daniel 4, where Daniel tells the king, Nebuchadnezzar, that God put him there to protect the people, not oppress them. The role of the king was to protect the people, to make sure that they could live their lives, not to rule over them. It continues, such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. Let facts be submitted. I'm not going to read all the grievances. There's actually a lot of them, but I'm going to show you a few here. It says, to prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. They were being absolutely clear why they were doing this. They wanted everyone to know exactly their purpose, exactly their goal. It was not light, it was not transient. It was just. He has refused his assent to laws the most wholesome and necessary for the public good. He has forbidden his governors to pass laws of immediate and pressing importance, unless suspended in their operation till his assent should be obtained, and when so suspended he has utterly neglected to attend to them. He has refused to pass other laws for the accommodation of large districts of people, unless those people would relinquish the right of representation in the legislature, a right inestimable to them and formidable to tyrants only. This was the right of representation, which the English government had had for many years. It goes on, he has obstructed the administration of justice by refusing his assent to laws for establishing judiciary power. Again, the list goes on and on. I strongly recommend that you read this whole thing yourself at some point, especially the preamble, but the whole document is excellent and worthy of a read and consideration. A free people. It goes on later to say, in every stage of these oppressions, we have petitioned for redress in the most humble terms. Our repeated petitions have been answered only by repeated injury. A prince whose character is thus marked by every act which may define a tyrant is unfit to be the ruler of a free people. The founders spent years trying to appeal to the King of England, seeking redress for the injuries, and they received none. Instead, they received worse punishment. In 1776, the people had had enough. This is one of my favorite parts. We, therefore, the representatives of the United States of America, in General Congress, assembled, appealing to the Supreme Judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions, do, in the name and by authority of the good people of these colonies, solemnly publish and declare that these united colonies are, and of right ought to be, free and independent states, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved, and that as free and independent states they have full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and to do all the other acts and things which independent states may of right do. And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. Once they signed this document, there would be no taking it back. Signing it was a death warrant to everyone who put their name on that paper. Their families would be punished, their properties would be seized. And yet they did it anyways. For us. Benjamin Franklin famously said, in response to a question after they had finished the Constitutional Convention and created the U.S. Constitution, a passerby asked him what had he done, and he said they had created a republic, if you can keep it. It's up to us to keep it. America would go on to win the Revolutionary War and win independence from England. The founders wrote the Constitution to restrict the government from taking away the rights of the people. James Madison, who wrote much of the Constitution, would repeatedly reference and source material from the Bible. John Adams said, "Our Constitution was made only for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other." There are numerous examples of the founders explicitly quoting Scripture and speaking about the importance of their faith in God. I encourage you to look up the Wall Builders at wallbuilders.com. David Barton has done a tremendous job of gathering their own documents and showing in their own words the faith of these men. So in summary, to celebrate these 250 years of freedom, July 4th, 2026 is truly a day to celebrate our nation's proud heritage. Read the Declaration of Independence to your friends and family. Remember what it says and why it's important. Remember the men who wrote it and signed it. They were faithful Christians who knew the Bible and wanted something better for their children and future generations. Let us rededicate ourselves to our founding principles, that God is our only sovereign. We are here to serve Him, and that our government is here to serve us, the people, to protect our rights and freedoms. Let us keep and defend the faith of our founders and never forget that we are one nation under God. Thank you. Please like and subscribe so you get my videos as soon as they post. Post your comments. I appreciate your feedback. Let me know your favorite part of the Declaration, your favorite amendment to the Constitution. God bless you. God bless the state of Texas, and God bless the United States of America. I'm Scott Baker for Truth and Liberty.